Merkel Media.
He put it in park, threw open the driver's door, ran out the side of the car, across the front of it, and jumped right off the side of the bridge in front of me.
The only people that really pulled over were truckers.
He said, "We're going Haji," and he didn't slow down. He went across the median onto the oncoming traffic, but where they could see him coming, they just got out of the way.
I noticed this plane was really low. It went right in front of us, hit the fence, and it spun around. 30 seconds more, he could have hit us.
And I went around that truck, and a guy stepped out from behind the truck and threw a piece of wood, and it shot through my window just like a spear and stuck in the back of the cab of my truck.
That's probably one of the stranger things I've seen.
We're all, and now you disappear.
No, I had to turn my on duty because I did all my pre-checks and post-checks. Sorry,
You're totally fine.
You should be off duty.
Well, I am now.
Oh, okay.
I was on duty for 10 minutes because between getting out and I had to check all my slack adjusters, my fluids, my brakes, my lights, my trailer, my loads, my chains, straps. I did it all in 2 minutes.
You are a professional.
NASCAR PTI.
Yep, there you go. That's Shipper. NASCAR. Every day. This guy is amazing. I don't know how he does it. But anyway, well, as everybody can see, and those who can't, they'll be able to hear shortly. Welcome to Hammer Lane Legends. I'm Brian Merkel.
I'm Brian Shipper.
If you have a crazy and wild story you'd like to share with us from the road, or you want to have a conversation with us about your experiences on the road, we'd love to hear from you. We'd love to have a conversation with you. Go ahead and contact us at hllpodcast@protonmail.com. That's hllpodcast@protonmail.com. Or go to the Hammer Lane Legends webpage, hit the contact section, get a hold of us that way. Either way works for us. I've been in conversation with Jack. Just get a hold of us. He's going to show me. He's going to give me all the passcodes, all the things I need to do to actually do stuff with the webpage. Ship. It's going to be amazing at some point. We're going to actually do stuff, Mike. It's going to be fun. It's going to be amazing. Yeah, I know, right? All these years, and little me has never had any access to how to do any of this stuff. So.
No, he has never had the keys to the company.
Yep. They've withheld the keys to the Ferrari.
Right.
But I'm going to get them. I'm going to get those keys, and we're going to figure this out, and we're going to do it. So anyway, Shipper, tell them about Buy Me a Coffee.
Keep us fueled, keep us caffeinated at buymeacoffee.com/hammerlane. Virtual tip jar. If you like what we're doing, feel free to contribute. If not, appreciate you looking at the sites.
Amen, brother. Well, who are we talking to today, Shipper? Everybody knows. Everybody can see. Well, those who can see, who are on YouTube, can see.
Otherwise, it's Mike.
It is Mike.
Mike Toot.
Mike
How are you?
Toot.
How are you doing, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sirs. I'm doing great. I just got off running the gauntlet through Alabama, and I would have liked to join you sooner, but I'm doing an oversized load, and I was so keen to get down to Tennessee, I decided to not check my permits and start diverging up the I-59, and I got this bad vibe that I should check my permits to see where I was heading, and I should have stayed on the I-65 into Tennessee, or else I would have been way off route. And if I'd have gone into a way station... So anyway, cut a long story short, I ended up costing myself 40 minutes. When I doubled back to Birmingham, there was a big crash. The weather was horrible, and I was just absolutely safely gunning it to make sure I was so worried I wasn't going to get to speak to you and I'll hold you up for like 2 hours. So it's been a hell of a morning, and they had the back end of that hurricane. I guess there was a hurricane Louisiana, so the weather down in the southeast has been really squirrely, like a lot of rain. And you know what happens when it rains on the roads? All the idiots, just instant idiots, just add water. So it was everyone's thrashing it, okay, and then it pitter patter, a little bit of rain, and all these cars that want to do 85 mile per hour suddenly go, put the flashers on, and I'm like, no, we are not. I'm not doing that. I have to be places, and I know how to drive and safely, but and I was like, no, it's not happening. I had to shepherd all the cars away and control my environment with the oversized load, but I'm not doing 55 to 75 and stopping and starting when you're like full weight and you're 11 foot in width. It's like no. These days are over now. It's time to be the shepherd of the road safely, but defensively and aggressively.
You got that
What's
right.
that?
I said, what did the shepherd say to the sheep? Get the flock out of here.
Hey, how's your eyes doing after the LASIK?
Good. It wasn't
Yeah?
LASIK. I had flat out cataracts.
Oh, okay. I remember I was listening and listening
it was
to you. I've been so blessed. I've never had to wear glasses, although I've got a funny feeling those days may be coming to an end in the next couple of years. But I've always had very, very good eyesight. My whole family, both sides, wear glasses. I can only put it down to eating lots of carrots, maybe. I don't know.
Okay, bugs.
It's bizarre. It's bizarre. I don't know why. I've never had to do it, but I've noticed like recently, if I get a bit tired, that vision. So maybe those days are coming to an end, coming up on 50
means you're getting tired.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I know so, actually.
14-hour clock shutting down on you.
And I tell you what, since I made the change to what I'm doing now, just sidestepping, my position now is it's not like the other company I was at, which is corporate, and they're quite happy with the 8 hours, 500 mile a day. That's what they base it on. This one's, you get that clock down of fumes, you do your 10-hour break, and you just get going. You know, there ain't no 65 mile per hour. It's, you get the job done,
Yep.
And it's a different beast.
You're already on the interstate.
Yeah, I tell you, and it moves as well. I got this Peterbilt 589. Boy, this thing is like a sports car. I'm not a big engine guy. My knowledge isn't tremendously good, but I've been told it's something like 600 horsepower. So this thing, when you punch it, it literally goes. I mean, it throws people for a loop, because you get people thinking that all trucks are kind of stuck and they're slow. I'm always full weight, and boy, if I need to get around people, it is not a problem. Put it that way. Sometimes I have to dial it down a little bit and say, "Ooh, chill out now." I've never had a speeding ticket, but take it easy now, son.
So how you like the new job? As far as
it's great. It's good. It was a bit of a gamble at first. I think when I spoke to you last time, I was like, "Nah, I'm not going to take it," because I was in my safety zone.
Right.
But to be honest with you, something put me over the edge there when I'm not going to mention the company. If anyone wants to work it out, they can. Blue Flatbed, okay? But because I don't want to disparage them, they're a very good company, especially when you're starting out. And I was there 3.5 years. But they put this thing out saying I could do 70 in my truck, but most of them do 68. But they were going to dial everyone down to 65, which in reality means 64, 63.
Yep.
Because the trucks, they're never really quite on the money when it comes to the speed.
Right.
And I was like, I can't go back to that. It's too dangerous. I was in Dallas when they made the announcement video, and I get all these messages. "Oh, gee, what's going on?" I said, "This isn't going to work for me." I said, "Look, I'm gonna have to. I can't go back to. I think it's so dangerous to be sort of pootling along, and then if you need to get out in the middle lane, I think I went through this last time. And then you're holding everyone up at 64 and everyone's getting pissed off, and you can't get back in the right-hand lane. And if you're in places like Dallas and Atlanta, it's a real problem. And it's dangerous. Right? So I've gone to this one, okay? Now, I can do 71, 72, foot on the floor, but I can go a lot. There's ways of getting around it, and I can go a lot faster if need be. There's not really a necessity to do that. But I tell you what, the difference in being able to control my space and not get sucked in, or I just don't want to be in a big cluster of cars and problems. Right. Exactly. And actually the crazy thing is that it was all about fuel efficiency at my last company. Well, my fuel efficiency is much better being able to do this and the way that I'm driving, and my stress levels are way less. My enjoyment for the job is way up. And, and then I'm not really going to California. I'm not doing the west. The most west I've been now is Childress, Texas. So basically just on the other side of Dallas. Yeah, it's like kind of West Texas, if you want to call it, but not super west. And I've basically been this side of the I-35, as in eastern side. Pennsylvania is about as north as I've been, in Ohio. And I did Florida. I was in Tampa a couple of days ago, but that's the first time I've done Florida. We hadn't done Florida much, and we won't be doing Florida much. I had to deadhead to Mobile, Alabama, just to get a load. That's like 500 miles, you know.
Wow.
It's crazy because there's plenty going into Florida. It's like California, plenty going in, but there's not a lot coming out. But yeah, I've enjoyed being in the Southeast. I went up to, I was up in Pennsylvania there. Here I go. God almighty, I tell you. I was in this new truck, right? So I've got a manual now. I've gone from the automatic game into the manual 18 speed. And I got to tell you, I hadn't done them. Do you do manual at Pitt, Ohio?
We used to.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. I think we discussed it.
They phased them all out. Yeah, basically, there's a few.
Yeah,
left
so I hadn't touched the manual since I started because when I learned at the school, I learned in an old crappy Volvo, you know. But I learned, and I forget what it was. I want to say it was a 10 speed, or it could have been a 12 speed, but it wasn't an 18 speed, so it's a totally different ball game. But I just remember. When I started learning, they had me smashing double clutching, you know, and I'd be like smashing it down, I'd be going smash it down, you know, I'm like, you know, everything's like real hard, you know, like feet smashing everything because the thing wasn't responsive. But that's the way they taught me. So anyway, when I started this new place, they said, "You any good at you got a manual?" I said, "Yeah, of course I have." Yeah. They said, "Have you done an 18 speed?" I said, "No." They said, "Oh, well, you'll be all right. We'll figure it out." So I said, "Okay." And that was the only thing I was a bit concerned about. So I was in Ireland for my brother's wedding, and then I kind of set it up to take like a month off, and then go early August down to Alabama, South Alabama, to start this new job. And fluffing around a few corners here, but I'll get straight to the manual thing getting in. So they were like, "Okay, we got your truck, here it is." I already knew what it was, and I was like, "Okay, it's great, it looks beautiful, you know, real nice looking truck." I'm like, "Oh, this will look good." I'm like, "Okay." He goes, "All right, let's he's a gun." By the way, my boss is a gunnery sergeant. Well, I don't think you're ever an ex-Marine, but he's a drill sergeant, gunnery sergeant, you know. Thinking of Full Metal Jacket or Clint Eastwood in Gunnery, Sergeant Hartman, you know, just think that kind of thing. You'll think, "Oh God, you know, he's a nice guy, but he's a drill sergeant." You know what I mean? There's a different way of doing business, you know.
Yeah,
and there's a lot of Marines in this company because you can't call them ex-Marines. It's a very military-centric company. I'm one of the very few, and then not the few and the many, but the few and the not so many. and the only English bloke as well. And then, so anyway, we jump in, all right. So I'm beat as well. We're all day long. We're running around doing stuff, getting everything set up. And then he's like, "Okay, we'll do a test run." It's like, he lives in Mississippi and the truck was there. So he's like, "We're going to do a test run, bobtailing." And it was like 8 o'clock at night. I've been up since 4 o'clock in the morning. And I've never used an 18 speed. In fact, I haven't used the manual since I got out of school. So anyway, he's like, "Okay, let's take it out for a bobtail." I said, "Okay." So anyway, I hop in. I'm not even out of his house. His land is huge. So he's parked it on his land. I'm not even out the driveway. I'm pulling away, and the thing's like, and it's got really high torque and loads of power, way more than I've ever dealt with. And this thing is like bouncing and jumping around. I'm like, "Oh my God." And he's like, "Okay, let's go." And then I put it down. The first thing I do to change it out of I started off in second gear. I started smashing the clutch down like I learnt at the school. And he goes, "Stop, stop, stop." And he turns around and he goes, I won't swear. He goes, "What the are you doing?" I said, "I don't know, sir." he goes, "What the hell did they teach you?" I said, "Double clutching." He goes, "We don't need a double clutch in this." I was like, "Okay." He goes, "We're going to float gears." And I was like, "All right." Oh boy, I tell you, I'd never float gears in my life. All right. And then, so the way he's describing it to me, he probably didn't need to be so in depth to me because he's like talking about an egg under my foot. Don't break the egg. I'm thinking, what's he talking? An egg? Egg under the? What's going on? I don't know what he's describing. And then he's talking about how the gears and do this and that. I'm like, this is all whoosh, whoosh. I think I just want to change the gears. Anyway, I spent 3 days, all right, trying to figure this out. And I was like, I was out there going down these country roads on my own, just like for hours on my own, just changing the gears. I'm grinding these gears. I'm thinking, I'm screwed. I'm done. I'm going back to Melton. They're not gonna have me here. I wouldn't let me out in this truck. I wouldn't let someone drive my truck if I saw me doing what I was doing. But absolutely not. You pack a U-Haul and get your ass out here. That's what I was thinking. I was like, "You're out." So after 3 days, he went in the ride. Do you want to take me for a ride? So I took him for a ride. I mean, it was bare minimums getting by, but I still, off to me, I was like, this is not good enough. He's going to fire my ass. There's no doubt about it. There's no way. There's no way they're going to send me out. Then we get back to the shop, and he goes to me, do you want to get your first load? I look at him like, I said, yeah, sure, okay. And then he's like, I said, are you sure I'm all right? He goes, I thought I was going to be there for at least a week. He goes, yeah, I've seen enough, you'll be all right. And I was thinking, okay, maybe I'll be better off on my own, just learning on the job.
Right.
So I went, they sent me to a steel mill, to go pick up some steel plates, which is, we do a lot of steel there, obviously, and not obviously, but we do a lot of steel. So I went and picked this up, and I'm like, oh boy, it was bearable, but I'm like, I really still didn't understand the gears and stuff. Mm-hmm. And then I was delivering up in Kentucky, which is, I'm doing the same run right now. But I was able to go home for the weekend, so I was like, I want to go home. But boy, I'll tell you what, I was all right. When I was on the interstate, I was good. But when I was getting down to, like, you know, the first 9 gears, but it's really just 4 gears, and it's just splitting gears all the time. Oh, it was horrible. I got into Birmingham, and I started going up these hills, and I'm stalling, and I'm stuck there like an idiot. Everyone's looking at me. I'm just sitting there. I'm so flustered. Right. Oh, it was horrible. I mean, I'm talking going up big hills, and I just didn't understand, like, anything. I was on a wing and a prayer. It took me about a week, and now I'm great. Now I'm, like, floating away, and now I'm splitting gears, and everything's great. But that first, especially the first 3 days, first week, horrible. There'd be times I'd just be dipping off onto the shoulder because I can't change the gears, getting onto a ramp, and I'm thinking, how am I going to get this down? And suddenly it just all clicked like a gear. It clicked in, and it was all right, but it was horrible.
Now you understand about the egg underneath your pedal.
Yeah, and actually that's what it is, because I was smashing everything down, because when I had the automatic, it was so not responsive. I would just be sticking the pedal down all the time. But with this thing, you just touch it and it jumps up like a sports car. It's crazy. You have to be really delicate, even like just shifting the gear. Like I said, I may use the clutch if I just need to get it in a little bit quicker. I just delicately touch it. But there's no, like, smashing it down like a drum kit, like I'm in a heavy metal band like before. Yeah. It was ridiculous. No, but I tell you what, I don't think I could go back to the automatic now. I think there was 2 times. I was in Washington, D.C. on a Saturday, and I was in, I forget the other, I think it was Atlanta. Both times I was stuck in traffic for about 2 hours, and that started getting a bit tedious, you know. Like, it wasn't so much hitting the clutch, but I'm floating the gears, but you know, I'm trying to keep it like 15 mile per hour, 20 mile per hour. But if you leave too much space, they all take advantage. If you don't leave enough, you know, you're smacking the brakes around, and then you're changing gears. And, you know, my right knee started to like, oh God, this is killing me, you know? Yeah. The old right knee. It wasn't the left knee. I thought it'd be. It was the right one.
Yeah, the automatic good into traffic like that.
It is. That's the one benefit of an automatic is that when you're in traffic, all you do is hit the brake. You know, you're just good. Yeah, it's like driving a car.
Fortunately, I've not been in too many of the big cities though, so that's been good.
Yeah, well, you know, but you're learning. I mean, it's fantastic. I mean,
I'm all right now. I'm great now. Everything's great now. I'm like a, you know, I feel like an old pro now.
Right.
You know, I'm sure cruising down the road, and I'm like, yeah, look at me, big trucker coming through.
That is so freaking awesome, dude.
Let me change that gear right here. Woo.
What does your wife think about that? About you driving the heavy hauler stuff and all that? She
as long as I'm not at home, she's all right with it. We got absolutely slapped with so many bills on that new house. I had to get 10 grand. I say we had to get, not I. We had to get 10 grand of electrical work done last month because we had like these flickering lights in the house, and then the city come around and they said something's wrong with your power. I said, yeah, I know. We just spent 10 grand fixing it, and they said, oh, we've got to put a new transformer. And I was thinking it could have been them. It could have been that screwing us, but I'll never know, and I'll never be able to prove it. Then the air conditioner went out. That was $1,000. And then I've got to get 2 trees chopped out of the front lawn. That's $3,500. So that's like the best part of 10, 13.5. I mean, just call it 15 grand, you know? And it's like suddenly I was going to take a week off. And I'm like, I'm watching our bank account go down like the American economy in the last like couple of years.
3.5
You know, I
years,
was like,
right?
and unfortunately, unlike the Federal Reserve, I can't just go down into the garage and start printing money.
Right.
I said to the wife, because I was planning to do this at home, and I said, I can't afford to come home. And she goes, no, that's right. You need to stay out and work. I said, I know. She goes, well, stay out. I said, okay, I will. So my week off turned into maybe 2 days so I can watch the tree getting cut down. But boy, I tell you what, when you start taking hits like that, and you've actually got to be responsible, unlike these absolute disgraces in DC in Congress who are just putting us into oblivion financially, and we actually have to balance books.
Yeah.
So anyway, I don't think my ass is going to see my bed at maybe 2 nights next week. Maybe, but actually, to be fair, the good thing about this job is I go through Birmingham quite a lot, so I can get the odd night at home, which I couldn't do that with the other job. They'd be sending my ass off to Timbuktu, you know. If they could send me to Australia, they'd do it, you know.
No doubt.
You know,
Flatbed don't float.
yeah, they put me on a barge to the Philippines with some junk on it, and pay me 62 cents a mile.
Yep. Exactly. There you go. If you're lucky. That's amazing. And do you have room to park at your place?
Right. Okay. So yeah, because I had a terminal. That was why we picked Birmingham, was because there was a terminal with my job, and I could just park there. But so anyway, the good thing about where I live is that it's quite it's a real trucking hub.
Okay.
So there's a small town quite close to me called Forestdale, and it's right. I call it the DMZ, all right, because I live in a place called Adamsville.
Right.
And it's all like green. Honestly, it's beautiful. It's really green. It's nice. I love it. It's really pleasant. But then there's this buffer zone. It's called Forestdale. And on the other side of that is a place called Bessemer, or kind of area called Bessemer. That is the number one most dangerous place in America. You got a 1 in 9 chance of being on the end of a crime. So you got this little buffer zone. It's called Forestdale. And you could see it used to be something going on. But anyway, there's a bunch of like old shopping malls and stuff like that. And I started noticing, there's a few trucks here parking in these kind of old disused shopping malls. But there's still a couple of little shops there, like a laundry. Anyway, there's one place, right? It's got like an old police substation. It says police. I was like, there's a police thing. And I see a couple of trucks there. I was thinking, maybe I'll go ask them if I can park there. So I went in there one day to see if I went to look at the door. It's not open, but it still says police substation. Okay. So that's a real deterrent for people not to come in there. If you're a criminal, you're like, police? Right. Probably. So anyway, I noticed that there's like a cluster of flatbeds in there, and there's some regulars. So I just came like a herd mentality, like elephants at the river at the Serengeti. Right. You know, they've all gravitated to this one area, and I've got in there, and I'm like, and I can leave it there for a couple of nights. If I can. If I stay for a week, I'm probably going to have to go stick it in a truck stop. But the truck stop, there's one truck stop in Birmingham. It's ratty, but there's a couple like 30 minutes out, so I may do that. But no, it's been good. I can park pretty close to the house, like maybe like a 5-minute drive at tops, you know.
Oh, that's good. That's really good.
Yeah,
I'm glad.
better than LA, where I park 30 miles from the house, $50 a night, and it'd take me an hour and a half to get across LA to get to my house. And if I got an Uber, it would cost me like nearly $100.
It doesn't pay to go home.
No, and then I was getting California tax, whereas I'm not getting that anymore. And so everything's kind of gone up, you know. So the standard of living's up, the money's up, you know, and I'm thumbs up.
Amen, brother. That's awesome.
I don't miss California in the slightest.
I bet.
I don't even want to go back there. I mean, it was lovely.
Yeah.
I've spent 24 years there, but I certainly don't want to drive a truck there, which will not be happening because they don't go there. My company, they don't go to blue states. So I was like, I'm in. You know?
That works.
Well, that's the only place you get all like, if you go to California, you go to a weigh station, you know, there's a super high chance they're going to just pull you in for an inspection and give you a ticket. Right. They'll find something. Your slack adjuster isn't greased. Oh, okay, sorry about that. I didn't check that this morning. Well, you know, consider it. I remember one guy said, well, consider it like a free inspection, like a free checkout of your vehicle. Oh, yeah, okay, thank you. Appreciate that. Here's a ticket for $400.
Right,
Oh, thank you. Appreciate that. Thanks. Thank you, sir. Didn't happen to me. Didn't happen to me, but I saw it happening to guys.
Yeah,
You know,
that's it.
So-
Think of it as a free checkup. Yeah, till you write
but
me the check.
if you're running Mississippi, Georgia, Georgia, you've got a bit of action, but you know, you've really got to be driving an old jalopy to catch their attention. But you know, if you're running Mississippi, Alabama, Kentucky, Tennessee can get, you know, they'll be looking out for stuff.
Yeah.
They can pull you in the way stations and stuff, but I generally get left alone. One, because I look so professional, and two, I keep my truck clean and I don't have a load of crap on the dashboard. I make sure all my lights are working, I make sure all my paperwork's good, and I make sure my load looks like it's properly tarped or secured, and I'll do everything I can to make sure. I'll let them go pull up, you know, the hunk of, you know, garbage on wheels, and they'll go for those, fenders hanging off and bungees holding them on. They'll go for that. So yeah. So, and then I'm doing a lot of oversize anyway. So I got, we're on permits and can only run during the day, which is actually okay. Quite enjoy that. And also the parking's a lot better. If you go to these big cities, like whenever you go to Pennsylvania, trying to get parking up there, you know, anywhere in the truck stop, I mean, it's not great. Down in the southeast, there's like truck stops. They're never really that full, you know. So that's been quite good as well.
Is it that there's enough of them that they don't get full, or is it that there's just
generally, and like there's seems to be plenty of. I've just not had an issue. I just don't, you know. Whereas when I was running in other places, it'd be like a real sweat to get to places before like 3-4 o'clock because you know you're screwed. Yeah. You know. So you know, I just don't seem to have that problem right now. You know.
Good.
But the only thing is, I'm normally running my clock down to fumes, so generally I have to pick the first available opportunity or the last available opportunity, and it generally can end up being rest areas. So my shower situation is the one thing that's gone down. That's deteriorated quite a lot, and I'm in the midst right now of a real run without having a shower. It's not great. It's not been fantastic the last 2 weeks. I can tell you that right. It's just been, and it's been hot and sweaty, and you're tarping, and
it's a good thing you work alone. Huh?
Oh yeah, boy! I tell you,
He's alone.
It's alone.
Man, my wife, right? She is so horrified about. She's being Japanese. She's super clean, but she has me like whenever I bring anything from the truck, I have to double bag everything in plastic, and then when I get into the house, it's a mandatory. Sometimes she insists that I get a pre-wash before I go to the house, and then frog marches me to the. I'm not even allowed to use the main shower, and I got to use the guest bathroom or whatever you want to call it, the second bathroom shower. And she sets everything up, and she's like in there like you're getting a radiation shower, you know.
You're like Sylvester Stallone in what is it, Rambo: First Blood? You know, the cops got him in. He's making it and spraying it down.
I get in the car. She'll pick me up, right? I get in the car, and she's horrified. She goes to me in a American Japanese. She's Japanese, but she's got quite a Western accent now, American accent, if you want to call it that. Well, part British accent, actually, because of me. But she goes to me, she goes, "You smell like a granddad." I said, "What's a granddad smell like?" She goes, "I don't know, musty, just smells." And I was like, "Oh, okay." Now, and then she gets me paranoid now. And actually, to be honest, the only place I feel comfortable is at a truck stop, because I look around and go, "Well, he must smell worse than me, because he certainly looks worse than me." So I'm like, at least I'm with my people here. I don't care what I'm wearing, how I look. When I'm in a truck stop, all levels are just out the window. It's like standards are gone.
Yeah.
I wonder, like, when I'm in a truck stop, I wonder about some of the, like the four-wheelers, like, you see them doing their cross trips across America, and they're in the Loves or whatever, and, they're getting their hot dog, and they're getting their, let's go to the truck stop, we'll get good food there. And then they see the truckers. I wonder what goes through their head half the time. It's like, especially the OTR crew. Like, I went into a Loves, right, down in, somewhere between Montgomery and Mobile. I stopped. I was like, I got to go in there. I got to get some waters and stuff. I was so low on supplies. And then I went in. I've been dripping in sweat. And I'm like, I'm not going to put another set of clothes on and start stinking that out. And I mean, when you're been sweating, it's humid, it's 100 degrees, it's humid, it's wet as well because it's been kind of spitting with rain, and you just kind of dry off, and then you get wet, and then you dry off again. And I'm just thinking, and I'm looking at me in the mirror, and I'm like, man, you look, that is not a good look. But it's a truck stop. What you going to do? I mean, honestly, I look homeless. I mean, I look like someone who just crawled out from under the bridge and, walking in the truck stop. And I was just thinking, my God, if I went into a regular store like this, they would probably kick me out. Say, no, can't have you in here. You got to go. Yep. You got to go, buddy. Go get that change outside. Go panhandle somewhere else.
You don't want to go home, but you can't come in here.
Listen to this one, right? So I was telling you about, I was low on supplies, all right? So I stopped in a place called Perry, Florida, not last night, the night before, okay? That was the one where I got 4 minutes down. This is when I was heading to Mobile. It was like halfway between Mobile, just south of Tallahassee. But there's nowhere to stop there. There's no rest areas, no truck stops. It's just a highway, US highway. I think it was 231. I can't remember, but... So I stopped at this place, Sitco, but it had truck parking. $15 it was to park there. There's nothing there, little convenience store. And I was like, I had no food. In fact, I had a lump of broccoli and I had some Brussels sprouts. That's all I had left. Wow. I'm like, this isn't going to do. I need my meat. I'm always like loaded up from Walmart. I buy, steaks and everything. But I'm like, because I know I'm coming home soon. And I didn't think I was going to be out this weekend, but I had to take the money. I was like, okay, I can get by on a lump of broccoli, steam it, and the Brussels sprouts. I can survive. I got my butter. I'm good to go. Anyway, I hadn't eaten all day. I was like craving meat. I'm a carnivore. And I was like looking at my map, and I was like, it says here 2 minutes away, there's and I never eat fast food. There's like KFC and all this. And I was like, I started just salivating and craving fried chicken for some reason. I was like, KFC, I'm going to do it. 2 minutes away, 3 to 4 minutes away, it says here, I'm on. That's it. I'm there. That's it. I deserve it. I've worked so hard. Brussels sprouts and broccoli ain't going to cut it tonight. So anyway, I started walking, again, filthy, couldn't clean up, can't have a shower, wearing work clothes. I started walking. I'm about 7 minutes, I'm walking down the road. I'm knackered. I've been up since 2:30 in the morning. It's like 5 o'clock in the evening. And I'm like, walking down this road, I'm like, what's going on? It's not here. And I started looking. I was like, I looked at the Google Maps wrong. It was a 4-minute drive for a car, not a walk. So you're probably talking about a 20-minute walk, aren't you? And this is after me having a rotten day. And then I was like, I'm already halfway there, 10 minutes in. So I'm like, no, I'm already doing it now. I've got to go. I've got to go for it. Right. I can't go back. I can't do a 20-minute walk, 10 minutes there and back, and then just eat broccoli. I just go, no, I'm doing it now. I'm pushing through. So I started walking on, and then I see this Pizza Hut, Wing Street. I was like, ooh, pizza. I can't go wrong with pizza and wings. Okay, that's it. I'm just going to stop here. I'm not going all the way down there. So I walk in. It says open. I open the door. It's locked. I'm like, good Lord. And again, it's hot, sweaty. It's kind of raining. Right. And I open the door. Oh, can't be open then. They just got the open sign. Lady comes out. Can I help you? I say, oh, yeah, I'd like to just get a pizza. She goes, okay, well, we can't let you in. We're refurbishing. Turns out they've been refurbishing since COVID. They just haven't seemed to finish. This is why I looked on Google Maps. And she asked me, I was like, okay, I didn't have time because I was looking at Google Maps, so I was waiting. I was like, hang on a minute, there's people bitching about this. They've been closed since COVID. So that's 3.5 years? I don't know. Yep. So anyway, she made me walk around, like the drive thing for the cars. Yeah. So I had to walk around where the cars go around and go to the window. She goes, we can serve you in the window. So I'm like, okay. And I'm like, well, I'm here. I'm doing it. I've got to get what I need to get now. I'm going to get my damn pizza. I'm going to get my wings. And then I was just determined at this point. I was beyond, I'm going to get my crap food. I need my crap food tonight. I haven't had it in ages. This is happening. I'm not going back there for the broccoli. So anyway, I pull up at the window. I've got no menu or nothing. So I'm just looking at her, I go, have you got like a meaty pizza? Yeah, we got the meat lovers. Okay, great. She goes, what kind of crust? Oh, stuffed crust to be great. Can I get, she goes, you want extra cheese? Yeah, go on then, why not? I mean, I'm starving at this point, so I'm thinking everything's a great idea. Right. And then she goes, anything else? Have you got any wings? Because it does say Wing Street up there or something. She goes, oh, yeah, we got wings. I say, okay. She goes, what do you want? Do you want 12, 24, 36? I was thinking, you know what, I'm probably going to have broccoli tomorrow, so maybe I should get loads of wings in case I get stuck this weekend and can't get to Walmart, which is highly likely with the oversized load. I said, how about 36 wings? I'll just bank the wings for the weekend, you know? She goes, oh, okay then. So I said, she goes, what flavors? Give her the flavors. She goes, okay. And goes, okay, let me ask you a question. How much do you think 36 wings and a large meat lover's pizza would cost in Florida or anywhere else for that matter? Just throw a number out there and I'll tell you how much it was.
$55.
There you go.
50, you said 55, Brian?
I'd say about that.
That's what I think. I think we're looking at about $50, $55. I was thinking, okay, it's not going to be cheap, but hey, it is what it is. We're going to pay the stupid tax today.
2024.
So anyway, she then turns around to me. This will blow you away. She goes, that'd be $86.41. It was $86, all right? And I went, pardon?
There was 36 wings, right? Buck a wing. Holy
36, 36 wings and a large pizza, a meat lover's pizza. $86, all right? $86. And I was like, first of all, I wasn't mad at her. I was mad at myself for doing this whole thing. I should have just stayed on the damn truck and eaten my broccoli for a start.
Right.
Or I could have gone into the convenience store and could have got a bag of beef jerky for $22, which is overpriced, and probably been just as content. But at this point, I'm like, okay, I'm paying the stupid tax, but this is bad. All right, so I just gave it a card, all right? I'm just thinking I'm an idiot. Oh, by the way, there's now 4 cars watching me in a window like a homeless person, drenched, getting smacked for wings and a pizza. All right, listen to this though. This is the cherry on top of the ice sundae, what you want to call it. She goes to me. She goes after she's taken my card and inserted it into the machine. She looks at me in all seriousness. She goes, "Do you want to leave a tip?" And I said, "Excuse me." She goes, "Oh, you want to leave a tip?" I said, "I'm standing at a window in a drive-through, wet. I've walked 10 minutes to get here, and I'm filthy dirty, and I just want to eat my food and go." She goes, "Well, you don't have to. I only asked." And then I had all the, like that. I don't know if you've ever seen that meme, with the woman with all the math calculations and calculus going on. This is all going on my head. In a split second, I started thinking, because I get paranoid about stuff, so I never eat fast food or eat out. It's in a restaurant. Suddenly I started having visions of
Yeah.
with and I started, and then suddenly I was like, steam coming off my head from thinking so hard with the condensation and the heat. And I said, put $5 on, because I didn't want them to screw in my food. And then I was at this point, I was so mad with myself. And then she goes, "Oh, thank you." And I'm thinking, I've just paid $5 tip for standing in the rain in a drive-through. And she goes, I said, "Where can I wait for the food?" And then she goes, "Oh, you can wait just around the corner in where, I guess it's where they smoke or whatever it is. They're smoking." And it was all there, the tables and chairs are all wet. There's nowhere to sit. It's just everything's wet from the rain. So I'm standing there like in a total bellend, and then I'm like going, "Oh my God." And then I started thinking, oh no, they're going to take about 30 minutes to make this.
Wow.
Basically to shorten it all down. By the time I left my truck after my 14-hour experience in Florida and walked up there, it was 2 hours before I walked back into my truck after walking down the road like a wet rat. Wow. Yeah, it was just under 2 hours. And then I got in, I looked at my pizza. I should have sent you a picture, and it was the sorriest. Talk about meat lovers. If it was the meat lovers, it was a vegan that put the meat on, because it was real sparse for some meat. I was like thinking, when you get a pizza, you're like, there's meat falling off the slices. This thing, I tell you, it looked like they picked out each individual piece, measured it out with a ruler, and said there's got to be at least an inch between each piece of meat. And I was just like, I have to be the biggest idiot in Florida today, and I'm definitely the dumbest truck driver for doing this. And then, but I will say this: the wings were outstanding. But for $56 for the wings, which is what it was, $56 for the wings. They should have been putting themselves in the ranch and giving me a back rub and a foot rub and then jumping in my mouth. It was, oh God. And I don't know how these guys eat at truck stops. And this wasn't a truck stop, but I don't know how these guys afford to like eat every day at truck stops, you know, doing the fast food thing. Cause it's been a while, but I didn't know inflation was that bad. You know?
That's probably why they've been closed since COVID.
They were. I don't know if I must have come in there and they said, well, maybe it's Florida, maybe there's a tax, maybe they think I'm a Democrat or something, and they need to charge me extra because we all know that the Democrats like to pay all extra money for everything. They like to pay more for when they get a tax bill. They always want to put 30% more into the taxes, you know, to the IRS because you know it was shocking. I was thinking Florida. Now I don't even think I could have gone to a restaurant, had a steak. Had a happy hour. Probably, probably had margaritas and tequila shots. Sat there for 3 hours the whole night. Gave them a tip, and I still probably wouldn't have paid $91.
Yep,
you know.
I agree. That's
shame on you, Pizza Hut. Shame on you.
I mean, the first thing I would have thought was standing there at the drive-thru, the cars behind me. Am I paying for everybody?
It's just my
I'll tell you
order.
what. I thought. I bet you, because I went to those Google Maps reviews, all right.
Right.
And everything. I don't know why I didn't look at the Google. Well, I did. I knew because I was going to go to the KFC. I didn't look at the maps because I just saw Pizza Hut. I wish I looked at the reviews because everything. There was some woman in there going, "Don't you ever ask me for a tip at the window ever again, blah, blah, blah." And I was thinking, look at me. I'm not even in the car. I mean, why would you ask me that? When I didn't even look, I look like I was so disheveled and I look like someone that's just been dragged across the border or something that needs feeding. You know, like if they'd have seen me, they would have been giving me $4,000 food stamps. A house, and a house, and probably like all the trimmings. Right. You know, I would have been prime candidates. Oh, you know what it is? You poor thing. What country do you come from? I come from England. Wow, is England that bad? Come to America. Thank you very much.
They heard
See this man.
Here's some British money right here. He's walked up to our window. We get some British money coming our way now. That's why they did it.
Look at these poor English immigrants, homeless and starving and filthy and dirty, coming to America. Man, England must have gone down the toilet since back in the day. That was probably they were looking down on pity with me. But no, they didn't actually. They asked me for a tip. If you don't mind, would you tip us, please?
American style you, man. They're like, no, he looks homeless. That's okay. We're going to charge him twice.
My question would have been the Pizza Hut. Is this a sanctuary hut?
Right?
Oh my word!
In Florida of all places, and this weren't no Cocoa Beach either. This weren't no Daytona. This weren't Miami. This weren't St. Pete's or. I mean, this is Perry, Florida. This place. I mean, it was double wides, and there wasn't a lot going on. I mean, it was proper. Hillbilly Florida, So I don't know how they afford that. Things must be good in Florida to be paying that money for that.
Jeez,
that is crazy.
No way.
I mean, I haven't had. I don't even know if we have any Pizza Huts up here anymore.
I know we don't.
Seen one.
We used to in Nazareth, and
we used to have
shut
one
down.
up here. Yeah, we had one up here in Hamburg at the. I think it used to be. Now it's a Boston Market or something like that.
Yeah,
that's
closed. That's I'm telling you, Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A right there. Amen, brother. That's it. That's going to be our spot. We're going to have that. We're going to get that going.
Do you know? I wonder how some of these places can stay open anyway. In the current climate.
Oh, amazing. Yeah. Well, and the amazing thing is, you're getting food from a restaurant that's still closed from COVID. It's like, what's wrong with your restaurant that you're still closed? I can't come in because of COVID. That's 3 years ago, dude. 4 years ago. What
it's
happened?
Probably one of these. It's one of these franchises where they're just milking it. You know what I mean? They're just absolutely. It's like when you go to the middle of nowhere and you get to a truck stop and it's an old rundown hellhole and they're charging you. There was a place in Baltimore and there was nowhere to park. I went in and this place was. I mean, it was being held up by sticky tape and chewing gum. It was unbelievable. The yard was brutal. And then I go in there, there's this old Indian fellow. He was a Sikh with a turban. Sikh people, very nice people, very conservative people. I like the Sikhs, grew up with them in London. But they got the old turban, he's got his big old turban on. He's got his beard and he's wobbling his head like, hello. I said, oh, hey, how you doing? I said, I got a park. He's like, oh, yeah, it's $25. And I'm like, huh?
Wow.
I had no choice. I had to do it.
Right.
And I said, can I use your restroom? I go in there. I mean, this restroom looked like, I might as well just gone to Calcutta, and it was the same deal. It was the same standards, you know? And I was thinking, you know, he's probably just got this place. He's not going to put any money into it. And,
right.
You know, I mean,
wow.
It's unbelievable. Some of the facilities out there for truckers and I totally understand I can kind of understand these corporations robbing truckers because you put you in a bad position. Do you know what? I never went to a Walmart in the over 2 decades that I lived in America until I started driving a truck. And now I exclusively go to Walmart because they're the only places where I can park the truck and go do some grocery shopping. But I've got to tell you, I don't know what I'd do without Walmart. I really don't know. I don't even know if I could exist in this truck, or I would have to probably just go down the route of the, I don't know if they're still one of your sponsors, but remember you can buy your 20-year food or whatever it is in a bucket. And do they still sponsor Hammerlane?
No.
Well, we won't give them a plug then, will we?
Right.
Missed out on that one. But don't forget to buy a coffee, everybody.
Prepare with
buymeacoffee.com.
There you
Not
go.
me a coffee, Hammerlane Legends. Is it buymeacoffee.com?
Yeah, you got it.
Oh, see? Hey.
You're doing all right, man.
Product placement is here.
You got that right. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
you know what
right.
the heck? Good job.
I'll do that. I'll tell you what, I'll do that when I'm at home time. I'll buy your boys a coffee.
You don't need to, dude.
That's all right. I'll do it. It's been a while since I've done it, you know.
It's good having you on the show, dude.
Well, I appreciate it. What's this number? This is 4.5 now, isn't it?
At least, yeah.
Hey, there was a good episode there with the young lad. I presume he's young. He did the 57-foot trailers in California. Now he's doing the McLean.
Yeah,
that was a good one.
That he was really in. He's a fun guy to talk to.
Yeah. And then Mike. I know we're obviously it staggers off a little bit, but is it Mike, your buddy from work?
Oh, yeah, Mike. Yeah.
He's always a good listen.
The Tesla boy,
the Tesla guy.
Yeah, he's always a good listen.
Hey, speaking of Tesla,
cheers, Mike.
On 84, was it? No, 87. Side of the road, there's a Tesla, right? Like, what the hell's going on?
Right. Ran out of fuel.
There's a generator sitting off. The generator's running. He's getting charged. Apparently, some road service or whatever dropped the generator and left it there for him to charge.
That's crazy.
And I just shook my head.
There you go.
Where was that?
That's a business.
Up on 84. I was blessed with running to Massachusetts all this week. I needed another T-shirt saying, "Yes, I did Massachusetts."
I'm not missing any of that stuff, by the way.
Oh, I bet. Yep. Nope.
I tell you what, though, I'm seeing in ordinary. I don't even hate Teslas. I think they're quite a decent looking car. I don't have an interest in electrical vehicles, and I'm not really a car guy anyway. I really got no interest in. I like my truck. I like things that make money. Anything else is a luxury, you know.
Yes.
But God, I've seen a lot of Teslas, and I'm starting to see it. Even that truck stop I stayed at in Perry, the little one in the middle of ratty little place. There are loads of Tesla things lined up. And I quite like Elon Musk, so I'm kind of rooting for the company.
Right.
Actually, Elon Musk, I've said this probably before, but when I had the carpet cleaner, I used to clean his carpets, and he was a really good, he was a good dude. He wasn't real regular fella. I didn't know who you, from 2002 for years, but I didn't see him for a lot of the time after that. But I remember the first time I met him, and he's exactly what you see on the TV. You know, he was a good guy. Yeah, we got on quite good because he had quite an English accent because I guess he went to school in England. I didn't know who he was from a hole in the ground at the time, but I knew he was quite young with loads of money. And I started going, how'd you make your money then? I was like, oh yeah, we're standing outside his big old house. Oh, I just sold a business. I couldn't remember. It was PayPal, but I couldn't remember it. I didn't even know what it was at the time. He's like, yeah. I was like, oh, yeah. And I'm thinking, I'm standing there going, oh, maybe get a couple of tips. Oh, I won't be a peasant when I'm older. Maybe I could be a bit like Elon here living. I was 2 years into my American dream. And now we've
be all right.
we fast forward 22 years and I'm sitting in the truck. Wow, having an American dream. And he's got a rocket company and he's the richest man in the world. And it's amazing how these paths they intertwine and kind of connect, and then they go, woo, totally different. They're totally different ways.
It's amazing.
Hey, everybody, I used to work for Elon Musk. I bet he don't go, hey, I used to have this English carpet cleaner,
I forget what his name was, but that is really cool. That is. I agree with that. I think he's a really interesting dude. I really do. I think he's really interesting.
Hey, do you remember I said to you earlier that I went to Ireland for my brother's wedding? I was actually, while I was over there, I started, because I got, actually, Steve, who's probably going to listen to this, he needs to get on the podcast. He's in Scotland. He's an English guy. He's a truck driver. Keep telling him, and I keep telling him, you got to get on there. But when I was over there, I was talking to some truck drivers and stuff, and there was a little window there. I started to think, I said to my wife, because we're thinking about retiring there, because she loves it there. And I've got family and, the option to have land and stuff.
Right.
I spent a lot of my childhood there, but I was talking to a lot of the truck drivers there, and then, and started looking at the trucks and stuff. And there's one guy, he's a regular, he delivers propane to my family, and I was chatting with him, and I was asking, how it works, like their version of DOT, how many hours they do, and all this kind of stuff. And I actually seriously thought about it there for about 2 days.
Yeah.
And then I started looking at like where Ireland is as a country and where it's going. I thought, nah, they're going to be communist by then. So I think I'm going to just stay in Alabama. I'm going to stay in Alabama.
Really?
With my guns.
There you go. At least in Alabama, you can still have them.
Yeah, I know. It's. I tell you what, every day that I'm starting to pass, I'm starting to think, wow, what a great move going to Alabama. Yeah. It really is. Fantastic. So definitely liking Alabama.
Good. I'm glad.
The work as well, and the trucking.
Good.
Amen, brother.
That's what it's all about.
At Pitt, Ohio.
Yeah, we're
good.
Yeah. Holding our own.
Eddie?
Yeah, steady Eddie.
Yeah,
we haven't closed. At least that's I don't know.
We're still here. So yeah.
So this edition, this broadcast, because we hate to say podcast, that's too chinksy. This is a broadcast.
There you go.
This should be coming out right around election day, wouldn't it?
Yeah, we can hold it.
It's hard to say.
If it's before, that's fine as well. How are we feeling, boys? How do you feel about the? Who do you think's going to be winning?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I don't care anymore.
Really?
I hope it's Trump. There was a time where I'd be like, well, I really don't want to get to, but I don't care anymore. I'll get political. It doesn't matter. You look at the state of where we are. You look at the lies that come from people, and you just you shake your head. And you have to at some point make a stand. And if it offends somebody, what do you even tell you? I'm sorry if it offends you. You know what I mean? Because that's how people are. Everybody's so easily offended. Everybody's skin is so thin anymore. It's like, look, you can vote for Kamala, you can vote for Trump. I don't care who you vote for, just vote. But do it as an informed citizen. Make sure you're informed. Make sure you know what you're voting.
It'd be absolutely. Do you know what? I can't tell if it really is close or if it's manufactured. I want to say it is manufactured because I've been driving around. Okay, granted, I'm not driving around the whole country anymore. In the last, well, no, that's not true because I spent the first half of the year driving around the country. But I tell you what, it is everywhere I go. It is Trump flags everywhere on steroids, even more so than 2020 and 2016. I don't know because I was in California, but it is. I mean, I go through some of these small towns everywhere from Texas. I mean, okay, they're red states, but boy, I'll tell you what, it is Trump country out there. I've been making a note. I think I saw one Biden sticker on a Prius, and that was in. I want to say that. Where was that? Oh, I might have been in Florida actually, just recently. But I mean, you could put on one hand the amount. But I tell you what, I think as the country is so concerning. If she got in, and I think that there's going to be a big steal and a big cheat. But I think, honestly, this country would be done like it is in Europe.
Yep.
It'd be finished. It finished as what we know it. It will be. Yep. It will be in bad shape, real bad shape. And then I got friends like in California. They hate Trump so much that they would vote for a hot turd on a plate in sunny Florida if it had a D on it. They hate Trump that much, and he ain't doing it. He don't do himself some favors sometimes, but you know that he'd run the country well. And you know, as a truckers, we'd be probably back in business, looking good, and everything would be sweet. But boy, I tell you what, if she gets in, because she ain't going to be running nothing. Well, she'll be running something. She'll be running the place into the ground. Right. I mean, that would be the ultimate version of idiocracy, where, you know, everything you've watched in that movie, Idiocracy, it'd be like the stupid has taken over, you know? Yes. And I'd say half his country doesn't care. They just don't care anyway. You know, it's just personalities now, you know?
That's all it is. That's what it boils down to. And the sad thing is that so many of these people will complain about Trump and say he's going to do all these things like be a dictator and do this and do that. It's like he was in office for 4 years, you know. He was in office before Biden was. Did he do any of those things? How would
you see him?
This is what I said to my wife. I said, I only watched just a few minutes of the debate. I did not watch. I worked. I caught a few minutes of it in the morning on YouTube. And I said to Michelle, my wife, I said, you know, he could have had one answer for every question for those goofballs. He should have looked at them and said, look, I was in office 4 years ago.
Yep.
Prices were down. Fuel prices were down. Food prices were down. Inflation was down. The border was secure. How are things now? And are you better off now?
On his game.
He wasn't.
He wasn't. When he needed to come out throwing touchdowns, he was throwing blanks because God's honest truth, I think he was so steaming hot about, and that ABC was a disgrace, and those moderators were a disgrace, and it was such in the tank, but you could see he wasn't up for it, and the stuff he could have hammered her on, the facts and the realities and the stats and everything else, he just didn't do it, and then he killed himself, even though they are eating cats and dogs up there. I've seen the 911 videos, all that, you know, they focus on it because they'll just zoom in on it, you know, and he just wasn't in his flow, and they were throwing her curveballs, and she must have knew what was coming. And she had nothing of substance. She dodged 12 questions. I think Trump may have dodged about 2 or 3, but she dodged everything.
Everyone.
The only policies she come up with were, we're not going to tax small business 50%. Well, thank you. I was a small business, and that's a lie in itself, because she's actually been proven saying she's going to put the corporate tax up. So all those taxes will be floating down what is small business? What, less than 500 employees? The nonsense they come out with is it's incredible. But the idiots that are out here, the absolute morons,
that is,
they're voting for their doom. They're voting for their doom. If you vote for Kamala Harris, you might as well just be like, okay, I give up. Take everything off me. Let's just go communist, you know?
Yep. You're exactly right. It's the other thing I said.
I could leave the show now. Everything's said.
In response to that Springfield, Ohio thing, I said to Michelle, I'm like, so Trump should have looked at the moderator and said, so you're literally gaslighting the American public right now. That's what you're doing, because everybody who's watching this tonight has seen the videos on YouTube of what's going on in Springfield, Ohio. And you're going to tell everybody, don't believe your eyes, believe us, the ABC moderators, because we checked with the guy who runs Springfield, Ohio. You think he's going to be honest with you? We've all seen the videos on YouTube, and now you're gaslighting the American people live on air. Thank you, ABC. You just showed us what you think about the American people. We're that stupid to you.
He should have asked Kamala to apologize to the American people for what her responsibility of the border and the letting in anywhere between 11 and 21 million people, and said, would you apologize to the American people? And didn't bring Laken Riley up and apologize to all those families affected by crime and death and murder from all these rampant. Would you apologize to America? And then put her on the spot. I know they can't ask questions of each other, but he should have put her on the spot and said, you should. And he should have said, I apologise because, you know, as this, that, and the other, as somebody, you know, I apologise to you as on behalf of the Republicans. Would you apologise to America as well, Kamala Harris, for letting down the American people? Really put her on the spot. Now, I'm a dumb truck driver, and I was thinking something along those lines. And Trump is a smart man, but something had him rattled at that thing. I mean, something had him rattled, and he didn't perform as we know he should do. And they made her. I tell you what, do you know what was driving me nuts watching it? Was her face.
Oh yeah, all of the
pulling these faces of anyone audio. I'm pulling the Kamala faces and and she's oh god. I'm like she's more unlikable than Hillary Clinton. That takes some doing. Now, and do you know what? I've noticed over the last 4 years, I started realizing when all those people that they despise Trump, I kind of got. I understand where they're coming from now, because when I see Biden and her, I'm feeling that way. I'm like, wow, I know where these emotions are coming from now. I know why you're so. But so I don't know. I mean, if you're going to vote for her, you're going to vote. You're never going to vote for Trump. You're not changing anyone's mind. So when Trump said, "I'm not doing another debate," he's correct not to bother, because it's a waste of time now. If you're voting for whoever, now they got to focus on Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Michigan. The swing states, not so much the swing states, but the states where the corruption will be rife, and they need to zone in on, you know, making sure that these elections are fair and sorted. I don't know why every other country, even the UK now, you have to have an ID, a passport or a driving license, and even a driving license don't cut it. To go vote, and that's the way it should be. But over here, for some reason, you could go to some of the most backward countries in the world, and they have ID for voting, but in America you can't do it, or they don't want it to happen.
Isn't it crazy?
And that's why they brought 11 or 21 million. I remember when I became a citizen, the first thing I saw was the Democrats sign up. I said no.
Don't you love that they don't know if it's somewhere between 11 and 21 million people, but they know exactly how much you've earned last year and whether or not you made any money on the side and whether it was more than $600 or not.
So if you think
they know all that, but they don't know where all these people are or how many there really are. You know what I'm saying?
The law of aggregates as well is that 10% are going to be bad, as Trump would say, bad hombres, you know? So you're talking anywhere between 1 million to 2 million bad hombres, you know? You're talking about CCP terrorists, you know, whatever, you know what we're talking about here. I don't want to trigger anyone, but if you're triggered, tough. But you're talking about 1 to 2 million bad people coming in. That is, I don't know how many people are in Rhode Island, but that's a hell of a lot of people. 2 million. That's like, I think Ireland population is 3 million. I'm talking about the country Ireland. Right. You know, so you're talking about 2 million. I tell you what, if Trump does get back in and he actually said, right, to clear out all these bad hombres, we're going to have to use the police and we're going to have to use the National Guard and we're going to have to use, obviously, the immigration services. That is going to be a big plan, which is not going to happen, by the way. There's no way. There's going to be like a registration plan. They're all going to have to get fingerprinted. There's going to have to be a big thing like that, and it's not going to happen. He's not going to clear out 21 million people, but they've let him in, and you know the toothpaste is out now. But that, I tell you what, I get worried about this country. Like once they, you know, whether it's China or these Islamo-fascists or lunatics, once they trigger and say we got to get this stuff rolling. 9/11 ain't going to be nothing. I'll tell you that. Right. But the
sad thing is that it's happening all over the place. It's not just the United States; it's happening all over Europe. You see all of this going.
Yeah, look at Europe. Look at where I come from. I like London. All right. When I was over there, I tell you what. I'll be honest with you.
Like you literally have to ask yourself, what are our governments doing? That might sound conspiratorial. I really don't think anymore.
It's the great replacement. They know exactly what they're doing. They know exactly what they're doing. This is not something that was just cooked up on the fly or just happening. They know what they're doing. Right? Yeah. You cannot have. It's like one thing they need America. They've got to get rid of those guns for a start. They've got to do that. Yeah. What it is a push for a no borders global government, and that's what you got in Europe. And now once you got them all in, you know. Let me tell you something. Africa, all right, that's the only continent on the planet that's like rapidly multiply producing children in some of the Islamic countries. But the Europe, downhill. Japan is forget about it. Japan's done, but they're a homogenous. Is it homogenous? I don't know if that word's correct. Homogenous society. Yeah, they don't care. They're like, we're racist, which is,
and we don't care.
I wouldn't call it racist. They just don't. They're not into the mixing. You know what I mean? I found out the hard way when I got there. Right. But it's like they, you're flat. It's like America. Like, you need to bring in this cheap labor. It's not something that's just happened organically. This is something that's like a World Economic Forum type deal. They know what they're doing. They know they're flooding these countries with, like, not just cheap labor, but you're going to need to have security procedures. We're going to need to shut this down, lock this down. Right. At some point you're not going to know, what's black or white. Right. No pun intended or anything like that. But it's just going to be a big mishmash of problems. 15-minute cities. They need to push all that stuff through. Get those electric cars going. Can't have you going more than 300 miles. They're going to do that. They're going to try and do that in America. But I think America will be the only country where you're going to have a problem trying to get that going on. I know you're going to have a problem doing it in Alabama. I'll tell you that.
Regardless, America is still like hurting.
Look at New York. Look at New York. What a disgrace! Look at Chicago, and the people getting hurt the most are the poorest of the poor. Look at them. Look what they're doing, and people vote for this.
That's the thing.
It just blows my mind. It blows my mind.
Shipper, you're awfully quiet. You need to say something. What do you got on your mind?
I don't need to say anything. It's all been said.
Has it all been said?
It's all been said.
I wanted you to join in.
Nobody can say that Shipper went off the deep end about politics.
I have.
The only word I have is, are you better now than you were 4 years ago?
Always.
That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, we had her in charge of the border for 3 years. What's she going to change? Nothing. She flip-flopped on fracking. That's a lie. She's going to flip-flop right back when she gets elected.
Right.
She's going to flip-flop on, I'm for guns. And enjoy. And it's just what you were touching on, needing ID. I have to jump through all kinds of hoops to get my CDL license, to get my hazmat, to get fingerprinted, to get my real ID for my driver's license, for my CDL. And
to get your background check from the TSA.
And to get a background check from the TSA. And yet, come on in. Here's a phone. Here's a debit card. We'll catch you in about 8 years.
Yep. 8 to 10
for a hearing to see if you should stay here.
Right.
Okay. Right.
Exactly.
But I'm all right. But everybody's against the orange man.
We're the crazy ones. I know. Yeah.
And you've said it earlier. You had to get your ass out back to work because you can't go to your printing press known as the what the hell?
United States Treasury.
Yeah, the U.S. Treasury Department, and print more money to pay your bills.
Right.
Yeah, but I think they want to collapse that as well. I think they want to collapse the petrodollar as well, because they're going to have to wipe the slate clean. Because at this point, we know that the what they call the national debt, or the interest to whoever's printing the money, they know they're never going to be able to pay that back. It's just a case of they're going to have to collapse everything, and then they'll just start from zero. But it's like the banks in Europe, like in places like Cyprus and stuff, where they all showed up once because the economy collapsed, and then they showed up and their money's not there. The banks, they're done, they're finished. At least, hey, the only thing is, if the banks collapse right now after the bills I had, there'd be nothing in there anyway, so I'd be okay. So
you're not losing anything. At least you used it before it was gone.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm sure in our lifetime we're gonna have we'll probably have a Hammer Lane's Legends podcast where we're all sitting there talking, going, well, we're all ready for the US credit, or was it? I don't know what they want to call it, or some sort of new monetary system where it's all digital, and we're all going to be sort of working on
central bank digital currency.
Yep. Yeah, that's it. There you go. Whatever they call it. Yeah, I'm sure it'll happen in our lifetime, and they'll wipe everything clean, and it'll only come from when all these countries, when they, Ukraine and Russia, the USA, and we're all going to clear the debt. We're not going to have a fight. We're not going to have a big old war. We're all going to come together. And oh God, it's horrible. It's horrible the way it's going. But I hope it doesn't go the way of Europe and America. I'm pretty sure that the American people, on the whole, are probably going to stand up to these cretins, and that's why I'm here. This is the last place. There ain't nowhere else to run after this.
Right, that's it. I agree with you.
This is it. And if you're willing to sell yourself out for socialism, trust me, I'll tell you what, you're going to be in for a rough ride, and your kids will be, and the kids after that. And there ain't no voting your way out of socialism and communism. You can only grab the guns and fight your way out. That's the way it works. That's the way it works. But I don't know if it's going to get there. But maybe not in our lifetime, but pretty damn close, I'd say. We'll certainly find out after this election. That's for sure. I don't know if I'll be buying my own truck. I mean, there's an opportunity for me to maybe move into that with what I'm doing now. It's kind of that. It's a hybrid company where a lot of more owner operators and sort of company guys, and you can buy the truck and stuff. But I'm sitting there waiting. I'm like,
sure,
yeah. I'm actually with this company bringing it back to the truck. And sorry, what was that?
That's a big investment decision, big investment trigger.
Well, I think the investment in yourself is fine, but it's not. We're at this point now where, as a country, it's not so much investing in yourself. Is this country going to invest in you?
Do me this simple math while you're sitting there on your break. If you dollar cost average from by the time you left your house, if you're owning your own truck, by the time you left your house till you came back 2, 3, 4 weeks later, what you made, what you paid in fuel, what you paid in insurance to insure that, other monetary business stuff like what you have to do, pay your broker X number, 10% of whatever, and you do everything as far as your insurances and everything, your car, your truck insurance, your business insurance, your health insurance, because you're going to be paying that because you're on your own. By the way, you're a small business now at that point,
right?
But your business makes too much money to qualify to get the $25,000 to $1,000 that somebody's going to promise you.
That's right.
You figure all that out, okay? What is it per hour that you're actually making?
Not much more than if you're a company person.
I mean, just sit and figure that out. Now, if that's the case, I didn't even get into truck maintenance. You blow a tire out, you blow air chamber out, whatever, anything.
Turbo.
You have to turbo, rebuild the motor,
right?
Because you got 800,000 miles on. You got to build the top end, whatever.
25 grand right there, 60 grand sometimes for a new one.
I
was doing about $460 to every 500 mile the last few weeks.
Wow.
Like if I because I normally get to half a tank and then I fill up, and it's normally about 500 miles, and I think it's about $460 on average.
Right.
Across the board. That's not even the blue states. That's the red states.
Right. If you figure all that out, and you're making more than a company guy driving a company truck in your area where you live, whether it's like $25 an hour, $33.50 an hour, whatever, and they get overtime. You figure all that out, and if you're well past that, go for it.
Right.
So this truck that I'm running is more of it's run like an owner operator. So I deal with the brokers, I deal with the shippers, consignees, I do all the bills and da-da-da-da. So I've actually that's why the company's a bit different. That's why I wanted to do this.
Right.
But so the 4 weeks, or is it 5? Just call it 4. I think I would say the average the truck's bringing in is about $5 grand. If I did 6,800 or 6,400, I can't remember off the top of my head, this past week. But then you start bringing in the fuel and all that. But exactly what you're saying, when you start balancing out, I'd say that after the bills are being paid, it is very minimal. In fact, I sit there question. I think, God, they're really doing a lot here just to make an extra couple $100 company wise, just to sort of. I think they're just keeping it going because they're waiting for the freight to come back.
Yeah,
and that's what everyone's saying. They're saying everyone's expecting it to come back, like to when it was around COVID, when it was booming.
And nothing's going to really change after this election. Everybody's on their laurels until this election's over with.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
If it doesn't go a certain way, we're going to be sitting on our laurels another 4 friggin' years.
Yeah, and that's not going to be good.
That's just the bottom end.
I'm getting old for that game. Right. I need cheap gas. I need high freight. I need manufacturing, and I need some mean MMFing tweets. I need some Orange Man bad back in there, and I need some action going on out here.
Right.
You know, and all these suckers sitting around playing the PlayStation. I've never had a PlayStation. I say, you people, you go play the PlayStation 4 years, and you let us hard workers get the tax breaks and do the heavy lifting and the heavy hauling and getting this game rolling, baby. Because we ain't got time for you. Go take a seat for 4 years. Go watch reality TV. Go sit in your house, play your PlayStation. Go do your Twitch. Do your Tinders. Do your Facebooks. Do your Instagrams. And you let us get to work and get the heavy hauling done. We don't need to get the heavy lifting done. We don't need you go take a back seat. We don't need any of that nonsense anymore. We need let the workers work. You know.
Right. Exactly.
I mean, you know, we just had a safety meeting, and you know, every month they tell us what our operating ratio, what we're operating at. You know, and everybody's like, well, what the hell do I care? Well, you should care because it's telling you where the company's at as a company, what they're making.
Yeah, what their profitability is. Yeah.
I'll give you a prime example. You know, Yellow and Preston. Yellow was at 100%. Preston was at 104. Well, guess what? Or Yellow was at 96 and Preston was at 104. Whichever way it went, you know, they were both one company. Where are they at now? Gone.
They're both gone.
Yeah.
They're gone.
I saw one of their trailers. I haven't seen. Honestly, I hadn't seen one of their trailers in months and months and months. I saw one of their old trailers rocking around today. Yeah, and look at those poor people that were there who were tied up with the pensions.
Yep.
And then they just turned up to work one day. You're out. There ain't nothing there. You know. It's like,
and what do you got?
There's that mail company in I think it's Illinois that went out with 450 people that were working for that mail company that they just shut down. You know, they were told by their brokers that we're done. You're done.
Yeah. Do you know what though? On the flip side of that though, I've still got a lot of confidence in the American economy, even with the idiots that are currently there, and even if we had to continue with the idiocy, which I still can't believe that's going to happen. But this country's so rigorous and strong, and the people are so rugged, and in rugged individualism and stuff will always bring it through. There's a lot of slackers, but they always seem to get dragged by the scruff of the neck and dragged along. You know, in the vortex of hard work from other people. But I've still got a lot of faith in the country personally. But you know, I can't say that in maybe 15 years, I don't know if that'll be the same. I'm not sure if the work ethic will be there in this, because I know it certainly ain't there in the trucking in the 3 or 4 years since I've been there. You know, I'm kind of a late bloomer in the industry, but even I've seen it, I'm like, oh boy, there's some of this, you know, there's lots of opportunity for hard workers out there, because I'm grabbing it like you wouldn't believe. Like there was opportunity flying at me, but I got the numbers, I got the ability, and I got the ethic, and you know, I'm ready to go to work and get my hands dirty. But there's a lot of people that don't want to do that, you know. And I've got a buddy that's trained. He trains people all the time, and boy, I tell you what, they drop like flies. I'll tell you that. They are crying. Oh, please, I can't take it anymore. I've actually got to work. It's like, yeah, you don't just drive the big truck and look pretty and take Instagram pictures of you with the big truck. You actually got to work for it. And he's like, oh, I can't do the topping. Oh, it's a lot of that. And I'm like, yeah, well, hey, more for me then. So, you know.
I mean,
I'll pick up the slackers.
We see that at our company now with guys that have been there, you know, 28, 30 years that are retiring out. You know, in another 10 years at the most, they're going to have to increase, you know, their employee pool 15-fold, because
there's a lot that are going to be retiring.
There's a lot that are going to be retiring, and there's a lot that are replacing the retirees that don't have the same work ethic.
That's right.
You know, where John used to, you know, go out in the city, bang out 17 stops, come back with 14 pickups in 12 hours. Chuck only does 3 stops a day and maybe picks up 1 on the way back. You know, that's all.
There's a lot of driver IQ that people don't sort of take into consideration. Generally falls under the bracket of common sense, which isn't very common right now. But especially in this job, it's like, you know, you got to be able to, like, I'm sure it says, I'm not sure about is it LTL? I only know OTR and flatbed and that. I'm not sure what the terminologies are, but, you know, I'm sure you have to work the clock like we do to an extent, and you got to make that stuff work. You know, on my perspective, I've got to be able to pinpoint exactly where I'm going to be somewhere, factoring in weather or even traffic, and make sure I'm there at that point regardless. It doesn't matter. I cannot get it wrong. I have to make sure I plan 2-3 days ahead so that, I can keep the loads coming.
Right.
But then you got some people that come into the job and they can't even plan to wash their asshole on the road, let alone make sure they make a delivery on time.
Lunch.
I need to eat. Well, you should have damn well brought some food with you. This is like trainees, like my buddy who's training people. It's like there's no pre-planning or anything. Oh, I don't have a hard hat. Well, you're in flatbed. Why don't you have a hard hat?
Right.
Oh, I don't know. It's like, well, hang on a minute. The stupidity out there is incredible. Absolutely incredible.
What do I usually say?
I'm such a jaded and bitter old man. Are we jaded and bitter old men, gentlemen? I don't know.
Okay, I don't know. If we are, it's okay. I
usually say the stupidity runs rampant.
Yep, it is.
Hey, on some positivity.
Yeah.
Talking about the Merkel media family. How's my man? I've been listening to Tony on the Confessionals and his new Wednesday show, and haven't heard much from Jack. How's Tony Boy doing down in Tennessee? Oh, sorry, here in Tennessee, if you don't mind.
Yeah, no, he's loving it. He loves Tennessee. He's busy. He and Jack
He's got piggies. Is he still got the piggies and the chickens?
Still got the pigs. Still got chickens. Yep. He's still Farmer Tony.
Pumping out the eggs.
Yep.
Slaughtering the hogs.
Yeah. I don't know if I think he has. I think he butchered the hogs. I mean, I'm not as well informed as Michelle is. So
he's saying on one of his episodes there. I think I was curious about this because he was like, he has these pigs, isn't he? And they're almost become like pets.
Yep.
And then suddenly it's time for the bacon. And the pets become the bacon. And I grew up on, not grew up on a farm, but my family had a farm in Ireland, my Irish family. So I used to go over there and stuff, and I used to play with the lambs and the cows, and they're all so cute, and go get eggs from the hen house and all that kind of stuff.
You had a gyro.
At some point, and in some point you're eating a steak, and you're eating a leg of lamb in Ireland. I tell you that, boy, it's tasty as hell. But that was little old Larry there jumping over the fence. It's like
over the moon anymore.
That's moo. Yum yum yum. It's a brutal existence. I know, Tony. And how old's Tony's kids? Your grandkids now, bro?
Oh my word! Gemma just turned 4, and I think Ben is like 7. He's going to be 7, or he's going to be
now. Okay, so the 7-year-old. So he came down. He probably didn't have a Pennsylvania. He didn't have a defined accent at this point, coming from Pennsylvania. Has he picked up the Tennessee accent?
I think they are. Yeah. When you hear him talk, they kind of have that little.
It's happening.
Yeah, it's happening slowly, but it's happening. It's funny because
that's it.
When you talk with Tony, you can hear it. I hear.
Really?
He'll say things in person. Like I think he tries to really kind of police himself. When he's doing his show,
he'll definitely drop a y'all.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. He's picking up a little bit at a time, but he's loving it. Both he and Jack are loving it down there.
Yeah, it's funny because I've been in America half my life now, and I don't think I've got an American accent. Maybe a slightly to be understood, but if you're talking to me, you'd never think, oh yeah, he's definitely been in America a long time,
Yeah, I don't. We wouldn't, because you still have your British accent.
Yeah, just enough to be understood, though, I guess. And no one ever says to me, I don't know what you're talking about. But then when I'm down here in Alabama, I speak to some of these people in the deep South. I'm like, I don't know what he's talking about.
Yeah, what did they say?
So
right?
Excuse me. I'm talking like there's some accents down here. Like whoa.
Yeah, what
now I know when people look at me, or they did back in the day, and they just start smiling and laughing, and I'm like, so I'm asking them a question like, hey, da-da-da-da-da, and I'm waiting for an answer, and they go, yeah, and I'm like, oh, he doesn't know what I'm talking about. Now I'm doing the same thing to some of the people down here. They say, and I'm like, yeah, and they're like, no, I'm like, oh, okay, now I get it. That's what people did to me. I totally get that. Yeah. I was thinking that it's a bit late in the day for me, all right? But I said to my missus, all right, because we ain't got no kids, but she's young enough to have them. I'm a little bit of an old fogey now, clocking 50.
All right. Tony Randall had him up until he was 80, so you're good to go.
Hugh Hefner style. And then She. I said to she indoors. I said, God, can you imagine if we had a kid now? We live in Alabama. I said he'd be half English, or well, technically Irish because I'm 100% Irish by genes.
Okay.
But it'd be half genetically Irish and half Japanese, and then it would have an Alabama accent. That'd be really messed up.
That would be.
I said, he'd have to grow up pretending he's Native American to somebody, because they were. There's no way that they put two and two together there. Oh, I'm Japanese Irish.
You're from Alabama.
Japanese Anglo-Irish from Alabama. And boy, I tell you what, if he or she was raised down here, they would have some accent. And my wife would teach them Japanese also. They'd be talking Japanese.
Yes.
Konnichiwa, or konnichiwa. Arigato.
Oh my word, that's awesome.
Do you know what? I tell you what, it might be worth my while going back this week and saying, right, I've got an experiment, baby. Let me just get frog marched to the shower, and then I'll have a second shower, and I'll tell you all about it.
Just hey, look at it this way. You'll get $6,000.
There you go. Think of the tax break.
I would almost insist on the kid having a Japanese first name, and then the last name be Halls, if you say it in Alabama style. So I was just thinking, what would be a good Japanese? Manaku Halls. That'd be one poor child be all messed up beyond belief.
That is hilarious, dude. That is hilarious.
How we doing time-wise, boys? I'm not holding you too long, are we? I know I'm taking all your time up, your Saturday up.
I'm glad you're here, and it's good to talk to you, and it's just really cool to catch up with you, Mike. It's always good to catch up with you, and talk a little bit of politics. I don't normally, I get heated, I get, kind of a little loud when I talk politics because I get so frustrated with it. But I don't normally do it on the show. But I'm just kind of like whatever. And if I offended, I'm not sorry.
Who cares?
I wasn't.
You gotta let it out, Brian. You gotta let it out.
When I get loud, it is what it is.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about it. I'm not.
You got to be okay about it.
Trump 2024, people.
There you go.
Get down that polling booth. In fact, the next time I'll have a day off after this, I'm actually taking off. Hey, talk about a contrast. Listen to this one. So I've actually booked in November. What's election day? November the 5th.
Yeah, something like that.
That's Guy Fawkes Day in England. I don't know if you know about Guy Fawkes. He's the guy that blew up Parliament.
Yep.
Remember the 5th of November, gunpowder, treason and plot. That was the big thing. And then every November the 5th in England, they have a big bonfire and they put a Guy Fawkes. It's like a statue. He was a Catholic, rebellious Catholic who tried to blow up Parliament. And it's like a big deal in England, a big bonfire. Now, it's funny because I was raised Catholic, and there I am at the bonfire roasting the Catholic dude. Didn't think anything of it because I didn't know any better. But anyway, he blew up Parliament. Looking at it now, I'm like, wow, that guy was a damn hero. Shouldn't be burning him. We should be celebrating him. But then the next day, listen to this. If you want to look at weird. So I said to my wife, I said, hey, do you know a guy called Morrissey? Singer?
Yes.
Band called the Smiths?
Yes.
Now, Shipper probably don't. Right, it is the most weirdly English... Well, he's actually Anglo-Irish like me, but it is the most miserable sounding music to anyone that's never heard of this. He's like, "Her tomorrow," but for some reason, I've always liked him since I was a kid. Anyway, he just decided, I'm going to play in Birmingham, Alabama on a Wednesday night, which is really bizarre because he normally plays in Los Angeles or some one of these blue states and blue cities. But he just decided I'm going to play in Birmingham, Alabama. So I was like, okay, I'm booking a ticket for that. So I'm going to be going to see that. So nice. I'm going to go see him in concert in a deep red state. And then the day before, I'm going to be voting for Trump. So talk about contrasts.
There you go. Yeah. Talk about it.
Hey, do you think I should rock up when I go to vote in my $47 Made in America MAGA hat that Donald Trump sent me personally.
I think you should. I think that'd be awesome.
140 cents. I sent a $100 donation after he got convicted of nonsense in Georgia or wherever it was. Sorry, New York. Well, I don't know, wherever they tried to hammer him. And then I was so mad, I sent him $100, and then they said, for $47, would you like a MAGA hat? And it was like the one that he wears, like the real proper trucker-looking one with the. I said, yes, I'm gonna get that hat. Gonna get that damn hat. It took 2 months to come, and I got that sitting on the shelf. I've never worn it. It's sitting on my man cave shelf, and I'm thinking, should I rock that out in Alabama when I'm going to vote? Probably not.
Why not?
I don't know, because it's a bit of a blue city, you know.
That's all right. If they can't handle it,
I'll send you a picture of it. Maybe I'll when I go home this week, I might rock it out and put it on the truck and start wearing it when I'm driving around. Yeah. See if I can get some hoots and hollers from the Trumpites out there. You know,
that's right. They're all over the place.
Yeah, Trumpomania running wild.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is, and it's fantastic.
It's probably about that time, isn't it?
Yeah. We got it. An hour and a half in, so it was a good hour and a half.
We don't want to kill all your listeners with with the politics. Yeah, I'm sure there'll be a few. I haven't looked at the reviews lately on iTunes or Apple Podcasts or whatever it is, but I'll be sure to look after this. I should have checked it out beforehand to see if there was any. We're talking way too much politics there. These Republicards, you know. Yeah.
It's okay. I'm at a point where what's the difference? At this point, it don't matter, right, Chip?
It's all mind over matter.
It is.
I don't mind because it don't matter.
So, but yeah, it was really good. It was really good talking with you, Mike.
Yeah, it was good catching up, lads.
It's always a blast. I really wanted. I actually wanted to talk on just one more thing. If you got a minute.
Yeah, I got all the minutes you want. I got 10 hours of minutes right now.
Listen to this. I got suspended from the Facebook fan page for Hammer Lane Legends.
Hang on, how does that work? I don't understand.
Somehow I broke community standards. I have no idea what I posted because
this is some AI rainbow-haired artificial intelligence robot.
I'm assuming so, or somebody hacked me
who may or may not use pronouns that are ze, she, ze, them. And ziggity zoo, biggity boo.
Yeah. So I can't post anything on the Hammer Lane Legends fan page. So if people aren't seeing me on it, if they're not seeing, it's because I've been suspended. And when I looked at when I tried to post something, it said you are suspended until August 26th.
What did you say, Brian?
I have no idea.
He has no idea. They won't tell him.
Yeah, I never posted anything that broke community standards. I said to Michelle, I don't know if somebody hacked me because like 2 or 3 weeks ago, I was getting all these messages about something that was on that I posted on Hammer Lane Legends, and yet it's not there. There's not. I scrolled through it. There's nothing there. There's nothing there from me that should be against community standards. Nothing. And I'm like,
yeah, but what is community standards now? Is it like you got fact checked or?
I don't know. I cannot get an answer from them. I have tried. I spent an hour one night. I spent 2 hours the first night that I found out that I was suspended. I'm like,
let me ask you a question. Do you know I left Facebook. I just kept getting booted off.
Yeah.
And then there was one time I was actually talking in a group, and I used the word to talk about a gearbox. I used the word tranny.
Right.
A tranny, not transgender, but a transmission. Yeah. And a tranny in England, we call it a tranny.
Right.
And I got my whole Facebook account deleted because of it.
Yeah.
I never went back. I was like, I'm not going back to it. Yeah. I was like, F them. I was like, no way. And then I went to the old Instagrams. I lost all these beautiful pictures, all these memories and everything on Facebook that I had for from 2008 or some stuff like that. Pictures of family stuff in Japan, my in-laws, all kinds of amazing stuff. And I lost it all. I could never get it back. All because I used the word tranny for a transmission, and because I don't know, AI or some blue-haired pig, in San Francisco at the main office said, "Oh, I'm so
Honestly, Mike, I have no idea what I did. I don't post anything except coffee memes and trucking news. That's the stuff I post on the Hammerlane Legends fan page.
But they're probably they hate
And,
probably got a list of like they hate truckers.
and
They hate middle-aged
like I said,
old white men. You know,
I have
which
no
is
idea
like we
what it
just
was.
don't we don't take. Do you know what?
And the thing is it's like you can't even ask a question. Like what is it? Show me what it is that is so offensive that I posted, and you can't get it.
No, because
They don't talk to you because
probably
it's all AI.
it's an AI thing. They put keywords in, and
You know what the sad thing is, and this is the conclusion I came to. Mark Zuckerberg did this thing. He set us all up.
Zuckerputts.
He sucked us all into this, and then he said, "You know what? I'm going to tell you what you can and cannot say."
Well,
And that's what
no, he's not, because I'm just going to. You know what you do. If you want something to go away, you turn them off.
Oh yeah, I agree. I agree with you. And
you know the great thing is that my one of my best mates, Elon Musk, who I used to clean carpets for. Me and him really good buddies, you know, with Elon Musk. He's got a little thing called X now. I never called it Twitter because that's what that was its previous incarnation. Now you can go on Twitter, and do you know what? X. And as I found out this past weekend, I can call whoever and whatever I want, and it's none of it censored, and I love it. And you know what? My biggest pleasure this weekend was someone banging on about a policeman dragging some idiot out of a car. Not that I'm really enamored by police, and especially DOT and all that, but I was like, hey, buddy, and his page is full of all this Hamas stuff. I said, hey, you love Hamas, you Hamas-hole, so why are you having to go at the cop? It's like, hey, you know, and no one can say anything. If I was on the Zuckerputts channels, I'd be done. You know, it's a beautiful thing.
It has really changed my attitude towards this. You know, when
get that Hammer Lanes over on X, and we'll just run wild. We can run wild.
That'll bring it up.
Yep, there you go. But anyway, I had to get that out there. I wanted to talk about that for a minute and just let the Hammerlane Legends audience know.
If you're offending them on Facebook, Brian, that platform is doomed, because you're probably one of the most nicest, gentle people that you could ever meet. You're not an absolute savage like me, or a semi-savage like that man to your right hand side over there.
That's why I don't have an account.
Well, you know, and you know, I had it for the show, and now I can't for a year. I'm suspended for you're
a
suspended.
Year.
Yeah, 350.
Bloody hell! You must have said something real offensive.
August 26th, 2025, at 10:24 a.m.
But you get 30 day. I used to get 30-day bans for on the regular, and it got no point.
I have
but now they're doing Facebook jail for a year.
Yeah.
I don't know anyone that's on there anymore.
It's literally disgusting to me.
Yeah.
And
I say we go to X.
I'm just so
X.
It is so aggravating.
I just get that on.
What?
And then you could say you can call a transmission a tranny. You can call an engine all kinds of words. You can say my steer tires are. There's only two things on my truck. They're either steers, but they're not queers. You know, you could say all that kind of stuff. You know,
a blower on my engine, I blow my tranny.
Boom, boom. Hey, I tell you what. Hey, where's the studio? Is it Harrisburg you're at?
Shoemakersville.
Yeah, I went through there. It wasn't under this one, but there was a time I went through. That's that little town, isn't it? One with the little pokey streets.
Yeah. Yep.
I did go through there. It wasn't recent. I know, it might have been. It might have been one of my first loads of this lot.
Yeah. Well, if you ever get up this way in the PA and you're around Hamburg, if you're in the Hamburg area, you're in between Harrisburg and Allentown, that's where Hamburg is at.
Well, I was in Allentown. Yeah, that's where I went up to. God, I forget where I was dropping off now. Yeah, it was in Allentown. Yeah, I must have gone through Shoemakersville.
You ever get up here again, and you will, let us know.
Yeah, maybe I could throw it out into the ether as well. I could kind of, I could I'll find out what that shipper is. Maybe I'll have to do a studio visit. Might as well do number 5 in the studio at some point.
Yeah, that would be awesome, dude.
You
I
can
can throw it. Yeah, do a instead of doing a Saturday afternoon, we could do a Saturday night X-rated in the studio, and I'll come rolling through with a bunch of drinks, and we can really put one on, and really smack them out, and bring Mike in, and we'll really get it on.
There you go. Like I said, this shipper will have a Hammer Lane Legends OnlyFans page.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, XXX, X-rated, Hammer Lane Legends, X-rated.
Oh my word! That's
see the half-naked Englishman drunk in the studio. No, we're not going to do that. Sorry.
No, we wouldn't do that because we know that things would be said that we wouldn't want to know.
All right, boys, I'll let you get on that. Come on now, it's been 1:38 on the docket there. I don't want to be holding you lot, and I know these fine listeners. You're going to exhaust them with this limey here, rattling on like an old senile Englishman.
It's a blast having you on. Just hang on as we sign out. Hang on.
Yes, sir.
Well,
goodbye.
That's the show. That's the show, everybody. We hope you enjoyed it. And if you enjoyed it, Shipper, what can they do?
Share the show. Share it with your friends. Anybody, everybody, even Democrats.
Yep, everybody. Everybody needs to hear this show because
hey, Brian's. I forgot to mention this. I lost going back to the getting kicked off of Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah.
I lost everyone that I got in touch with on the show, so because they kicked me off Instagram as well. So if there's anyone that I missed and haven't spoken to in ages that I've lost touch with, I'm at Hollywood Truck Stir, like Hulk Hogan, but Hollywood Truck Stir on Instagram if you want to get back in touch. I'm only saying that because there's all these people that from Hammer Lane Legends, I lost touch with them because they kicked me off.
It's crazy.
Yeah, so there you go. Sorry, I didn't mean it, but it just popped in my head, so I had to jump it in there. So
I'm glad you did. No, I want you to.
And on X, I'll let you know down the road because I'm too lethal to let anyone know right now.
Well, that sounds good, Mike. I'm glad you came on and just hang on. It was great talking with you, brother, man. It was really good to see you. Really good to talk with you.
Pleasure was mine.
Take care, man. See ya.
Keep the hammer down the Hammer Lane.
In the Hammer Lane. Toot us, Mike.
Toot.
All right.